Guys, welcome back to what the hell week are we on? Four of Anime FMK Fall 2017.
It's always really confusing that we're on week 4, but we're on episode like 7 of some shows.
Yeah, I mean, the whole week thing is entirely arbitrary. It's the season decides. Fuck, I had a bit. The season starts when we decide it starts. That would have been better if I'd said it right the first time.
The season decides.
The season decides. A season decides. A slave obeys.
No.
Kieran, did you obey your anime this week?
I did. I did obey it. I cherished my master. That is my anime.
Anime Obey sounds like a website.
Anime Obey song.
Yeah. Yes. Except it's Anime OBAE. It's your.
Ooh, I like it. Subject.
Guys,
look at those particles.
Okay, Ein, Cliff, I want you to just snap up that domain name for us. Just put something on there if you're watching this.
It can be a waifu ranking site.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
In fact, guys, we're no longer video producers. We're waifu rankers. That's our new. Remember how?
Is that hot now?
Dude,
That's
no,
the
I
new
want
hot
to
thing.
make a show called Your Waifu is Trash, and it's the logo. The logo is Your Waifu is Trash, and it's a little trash can with little moe eyes staring up the top.
That's good.
Well, I mean, Oscar the Grouch is my Sesame Street waifu, so we're already.
Husbando?
You
No,
mean
waifu.
you mean Grouchan?
Oscar?
Guys, let's jump right into our first potential waifu of the weeku. Garo, Vanishing Line.
Not the Vanishing Line?
No, not I fixed my notes. And also nobody cares but me.
No.
Not one person has said, man, there's no the in it, but it bothers me, so I now have fixed it. Guys, this week we watched episode 7, in which we are introduced to Pawn, a horror who is recruiting people for El Dorado, and a mysterious white-haired man who I shall call Discount Vicious, who appears to be trying to track down Sophie. Pawn attacks Sophie's orphanarium, and Kung Fu Action Nun holds him off while Sophie evacuates the other orphans. When Sophie returns, Pawn kills Kung Fu Action Nun, but Discount Vicious appears and kills Pawn, and seems about to kidnap Sophie before Sword and Luke intervene. And for the past couple of weeks, we've been back and forth on this show like, is this Monster of the Week okay? Is this enough? Does it need more arc plot? This was the big, no, we've got a villain, who will last longer than this one episode. We're learning stuff about what El Dorado is. Kieran, you've especially been back and forth about whether that is even something you want. Now that you've got it, how did you feel?
I really liked this. This is, I think we all expressed how much we wanted it to jump from being Monster of the Week to something a bit more, with a bit more teeth to it, and now we finally got there. There's a lot of fun stuff going on this episode, and now we really have what seems to be an arc that'll probably take us to the finale. Really cool ties in with Sophie's story, getting some backstory on a lot of other people. Shit with the Nun was awesome. Like, a lot of really great action pieces and some cool story threads. This is a lot of what I really wanted from it this week.
The moment she tore that, oh man, I was like, yes, this is what I need.
That was good.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Last week I said it's got one more week to pick this shit up, and guess what? I'm very happy to see that we might actually have a real storyline happening, which I didn't necessarily need, but now that I have it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's see what a storyline will do for this. Maybe we'll get more consistent action, more consistent use of characters. So yeah, I'm very happy with this week's developments.
One of the other criticisms that I've been giving it is that it doesn't ever feel like there are any stakes because Sword kills all the horrors so easily that a lot of the action stuff can fall a little flat. This really addressed that too, because, and again, spoiler warning, too late since I already read the summary. Kung Fu Action Nun straight up dies on screen in front of Sophie's eyes.
I think that might not be true. Then again, you know how these anime go. She's dead. Oh, she's fine. She'll be okay.
She looks pretty dead.
She looks pretty dead. But again.
But let's find out if this show is dead. It's not dead. I killed it last week. This week I'm gonna vote to fuck. I'm interested in seeing where this goes. Kieran.
I'm liking where it's going. I like what it's doing. I'm also going to fuck it for another week.
I give it one more week to pick up, and it did, so It gets the trifecta.
Hey, another trifecta, which it was getting consistently up until last week. I'm glad it picked back up a little bit again.
I think it was a little divisive, like, kind of maybe a little pity ones, like, maybe you got something in there, but now we're getting to it, and I really liked what it's doing.
Using the tongue, it's great.
Yeah, and actually a lot of stuff now that we've gotten rid of some of the real bad shit, which, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah!
Last week's poll, surprising no one, just because is dead. No just because, ever again.
Sports boy is dead boy.
Yep, but we will be talking about some Black Clover later. But right now, it's time for Juni Taisen Zodiac War, Episode 7, Rabbit turns monkey and horse into more zombies. There's a long, boring flashback with Snake and Dragon. In the present, Tiger encounters the undead Snake and cuts off his arm, then wanders off. Ox then cuts off Snake's other arm, then Tiger wanders back. She seems real mad at Ox for some reason. Snake's severed arms wrap themselves around Ox and Tiger's throats and begin choking them out. Ox asks for Tiger's help to escape the situation, promising her a one-on-one duel afterward. And Scott, let's start with you. This is another one that's been kind of back and forth, kind of on the bubble sometimes. What did this episode do, to your opinion?
One of the things that I've harped upon this show is that its production values took a huge step down after those first couple of episodes, and it is the most apparent here. Like, these two characters, Dragon and Snake, are the two most boring characters in the entire cast, flat out. But if they had had the production values to actually make their abilities more interesting, then maybe they could have carried this episode. But as it is, I am so glad that Snake bit it right at the beginning. Like, thank God, because I only had to put up with one of these assholes. I don't know. I'm very unsatisfied. And again, last week I was like, I think this has one more week to do it for me. And
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, this episode, I was hoping last week was just a one-time slump, and this episode didn't dip any further down in my estimation, but also didn't really raise that quality back up to what I was accustomed to from the first 3 or 4 episodes. The flashback did not engage me, and none of the present action really did either. I think we said, like, a lot of the most interesting characters are dead. Let's see if they can do something with the ones they have left. They kind of didn't. I don't know, Kieran?
Yeah, this is real. I mean, I didn't like this show at the beginning. I really didn't, because it feels just amateurish, and no character has, like, really any depth. And now the people that did are gone. So I'm like, they're just walking, I don't know, these are just walking caricatures now. Like, there's nobody I really care about that's going around here. It's just, oh, cool, Snake's there. Dragon's still alive. Ooh, but I'm not feeling a whole lot from this week.
so what you're saying is that the rabbit went and took all of the characters who had anything interesting and then turned them into about the same as everybody else? Walking zombies?
Yes. The rabbit effectively killed the show.
Oh, well, let's see if this show has become a walking zombie yet. Get your cards ready, and I'll start us off. This show started off so promising, but I'm going to vote to kill it. It's just not doing it for me anymore. Kieran, how you feeling?
I was probably the biggest opponent of it at the beginning, and I do think it did a lot of stuff in the middle that was really cool, but not enough. I want to kill it. I am really bored. I'm really feeling that mid-slump. I want it gone.
I'm going to watch it till the end no matter what. But, yeah, no, I'm killing it here.
Oh shit, we got a tri-kill on the board.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. I'm going to finish it because I'm really curious about it, because I still want to see how this ends. And maybe the finale will be great, but man, that middle has killed it for this show. Like, I would not recommend this anime to anybody anymore, but, you know, even if the ending is great, I'm still like, nope, not worth it. So...
All right, well, we can get into specifics in Unsnipped if we feel like it, but boy, these first two...
The exact.
I know, right?
Yeah. One had like they were both on the chopping block. Yeah. One succeeded, the other one just.
Yeah.
But moving on to something that we've all been consistently very excited about, that we have had a lot to talk about when it comes to the Unsnipped time. I'm going to make the attempt to get this right from now on.
You got this.
Inuyashiki.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the best attempt you've made so far.
I was. See, back in the day, I was one of those guys who kept on saying Naruto long after everybody else had figured out how to get it right. I did eventually figure that one out. I'm sure I will get used to this one too. But Inuyashiki, Episode 6, People of Tuchan. Hiro evades the police and lays low with Pubehead, a classmate who believes he is innocent, and her Gram, who does not follow the news and seems oblivious to his crimes. His name and photograph are released to the media, and several internet commenters blame Hiro's mother, despite her tearful apologies for her son's crimes, which Hiro takes very hard. When he sees on the news that his mother has committed suicide, he doxes the people who have been criticizing her online and torments and kills them one by one. And once again, that is a bare-bones plot summary. There is a whole lot more conveyed there. I realized we didn't even talk about Pubehead last week, which was when she was introduced. It was a not blink and you miss it, but it was one of those one scene, here's this character, they'll be important later, don't worry about it. She came back in full force this week, and... Kieran, start us off.
There is so much happening this episode. It felt like the longest episode in a good way. There is so much happening in every scene. There is so much show don't tell happening that I love and treasure that the show is doing. It is just absolutely knocking the ball out of the park with pacing. It knows how to punctuate every moment and make it so tense. And geez, this the ending for this episode, the final scene's like, man, and the scene, oh God, just when he realizes his mom's dead.
Yeah.
And there's so much good shit, and I love it.
I did not expect to get catharsis out of Hiro, out of any character in the show. Catharsis from Hiro was not on my list, but yeah, that's definitely what a lot of this, like, because it's interesting, because if you know about the mangaka and his whole deal, the fact that he's like, Chuchen is the worst place on the fucking internet.
Kieran pointed this out in our first week. I'd like to throw out.
So it colors this episode, and it gives you a real perspective on the toxic internet culture and how it comes around, and the idea of karma. And I was not expecting this episode. I love this about Inuyashiki. I don't expect all the twists and turns it gives me, but every time it does, I'm like, this makes sense, this works, and it's so well told.
Yeah, I think we're getting a lot of thematic payoffs here. I think we've talked about how Hiro is such an odious human being and yet is given just enough to humanize him. I never expected that I would feel so strongly for what he is going through.
I know.
He's still not redeemed as a person or a character, but that is not what this author is interested in. And if I keep talking, then... Guys, we will have so much to talk about in Unsnipped. Please, if you're not joining us for Unsnipped... We got those
getting half the story.
Yeah. We got those time codes, even if all you care about is this show. Guys, hold up your cards. Come on, let's get real.
We all know
fuck.
Again, God, I love it.
Yeah, like
So
at this point, even if the ending sucks, these first 6 episodes have just solidified it as a recommendation to anybody.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Marking down that trifecta. Second trifecta of the week. So, And
they were good. And like these were not like, reserved ones. I think they were good shit.
There was satisfaction on both ends. So
it was good.
Absolutely. But moving on, speaking of satisfaction, something that got a second lease on life last week. Let's see if it can continue to satisfy. We have King's Game the Animation, Episode 7. Protag-kun, Brawny Boy, and Interchangeable Anime Chick 3 arrive at the ruined village, which was the site of the first King's Game. Poking around, they find a photo of the father of Protag-kun's girlfriend from the previous King's Game, alongside her and her sister, who turns out to be Psycho Chick from the current King's Game. There's a lot of complicated plot nonsense that we can get into if you really want, but short version, just about everybody except for Protag-kun and Psycho Chick die. And yeah, there was no middle ground synopsis-wise between that and no, let's get into every plot detail. So we can, I got some notes. We can get into that in Unsnipped if we really want to get into that nitty-gritty plot stuff. But in broad strokes, this was not giving me what we got last week, which was hilarious over-the-top bullshit and good deaths. This was more inconsistent characters and general weirdness. Maybe... like, if last week was here and the previous weeks were here, this might have been like, but not feeling anywhere near as positive as last week. I don't know. Let's go down the list the other way. Scott, how you feeling?
I couldn't tell you what happened in this episode to save my life, and I watched it intently. I know that the girl died and what's his name died, and that was actually kind of a halfway decent scene. I was like, okay, that's the steps leading up to this death worked well enough, but everything with Nobuaki didn't care. Like the actual death itself, again, was like, as far as deaths in this show go, in terms of like development and leading up, I'm like, it's still way below anything that's actually effective. And so I was bored, and I can't remember like 90% of the plot points because, again, I watched this intently. I just don't give a shit.
I think a big part of the problem might be that the last few episodes have been flashback, and now it kicks us back to the present, which was enough time that I lost track of who's who, what's going on.
As I said, mixing these two together was a mistake.
Kieran, how you feeling?
I absolutely agree. The timeline shenanigans, the way this is told, is really poor. Just top to bottom, this adaptation. I don't know how the story originally is, but it is just, I feel like they're trying to cram two stories, and they can't. If this was originally presented this way, man, that sucks. This is not conveyed well at all. The whole time you're like, okay, we're here, and oh, the subtitles are blue, so I guess we're in a flashback. Thanks, Crunchyroll. So, like, if that wasn't there, I wouldn't know for a lot of the shit going on. God, their death was just miserable. I love the flashbacks to like 2 minutes ago. Where they're like, remember when you said that in the field? That was good. Like,
oh God, yeah, and not to mention Miss like bipolar.
I know, right?
No,
like,
I'm sorry.
gonna kill you, and then, oh no, I love you.
Why does horror anime focus on the trope so much of like, oh, I love
So
you,
bad.
now let's die together?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
like, oh.
terrible, inconsistent shit, and nobody died in a cool way. That's all I wanted was somebody to catch on fire or dude fucking Twister with their limbs. Nothing fun.
Guys, let's see if this show dies in a cool way. We can... You know what? Let's just hold him up. I'm gonna kill it.
Me too.
Second try kill of the week. That means we're pulling out that wheel of justice again at the end of this show.
I'm okay with either one of these dying. If I need another week for either one, I will survive, so it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want one to die over the other. I won't say which,
Yeah,
but
I feel you.
I've had, well, I mean, we can just say I would rather another week of Juni Taisen because that has given me more quality over the course than King's Game has.
I have way more to talk about with Juni Taisen than I do with King's Game, but it'll be up to the fates.
Up to the wheel.
Yep. When God is dead, justice decides. But let's see if justice shall befall Kino's journey. In episode 7, Kino tells Hermes a story about Kino's master, Shisho. Shisho's traveling companion and apprentice, different one than Kino, was arrested by a corrupt regime on trumped-up charges during their travels together. Shisho staged a jailbreak, and the two of them hold themselves up in a clock tower, kneecapping, but not killing, any authorities who came near until the authorities begged and finally bribed them to leave. In the present, Kino arrives at the same country and finds that the corrupt regime has now cleaned up its act, and the two, Shisho and her apprentice, are now considered national heroes. And Kieran, you have been consistently the biggest booster. Of course, we all liked last week. How are you feeling about this week?
Again, I love it. I never know what to expect with this show. I love going into Kino simply because it's different. And where last week was this really crazy story about like humanity and like theology. I love like what it was just playing with. Is it okay to hate people, basically? And then this next one is just, hey, really like questionable morality stuff. You know, they're going in here, travelers, but the regime's bad, so I guess it's okay. Like, and also it was hilarious. I loved when they're in the clock tower and the trying to do the negotiations. I was laughing. It's a fun like parable. The show just knows how to focus on really fun, simple storytelling, and it does it in a really enjoyable way. I really like what I get from the show.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was really cute for me. There was a lot of great moments. Again, in the clock tower, all the stuff with them and the police. I was
love
like, that is fantastic.
I was laughing out loud, and that's pretty rare.
It's kind of interesting because I think one of the things I found out with this show that kind of how do I put this? The thing with the show that kind of sends me mixed signals is that it's actually a very Japanese show in a very Western atmosphere.
Yeah, totally.
And that's the thing that kind of has thrown me off, is that I expect more Western storytelling or thematic elements when I'm getting in, but I'm not getting that. So I've kind of had to adjust a little bit. But at the same time, again, I'm still kind of at odds with the tone that it's trying to set. Because, again, I liked the comedic elements well enough, and I like the stuff, like learning about Kino's master. Oh, hey, that's neat. And also humanizing Kino a little bit. Also neat. But at the end of the day, I actually still found myself not that into it because, and I think I'm just not digging on this story of the day thing. I think they're too rushed for me to still get into them. I think one country for 2 episodes and taking its time would have worked for me more. But as we keep going, I'm finding things that I like, but it's still not that great for me.
I think this episode continued the trend of the best episodes of Kino's journey are the ones with the least Kino. This was this was very much Shisho's show. Say that 3 times fast.
Show.
And I think Kieran has called out Kino as this like chaotic neutral. You don't know what they're gonna do. I think this Shisho fulfilled that function better than Kino does, because here she's like Bugs Bunny screwing with the straight man and, you know, visiting karmic justice on this corrupt system. And I really liked it. Guys, get your cards ready. I'm gonna fuck it. And that's a stronger fuck than this show has sometimes gotten from me. I really like this episode.
I'm gonna kill it because, again, it's still not doing enough for me. Like, if I dropped the show and never went back to it, I just wouldn't care. So it's getting a kill for me, not because I hate it, not because I think it's bad or terrible or anything, but yeah, it's not doing it for me.
Again, I've been very consistent with my opinion on this show. I'm really happy. Like, I love this different, like, this gamut of responses, and that's what I enjoy the most about Kino. There's just something really unique about how it tells its story and what it's doing with its characters that you don't see in any other show. Like, when you talk about shows done by the numbers, this is so against what common anime is doing. As you said, Japanese in a Western setting, very Japanese story here, and it's so cool. Like, you're rooting for this kind of bad person. And it's really, really interesting. I really like this week.
Well, speaking of shows that are done entirely by the numbers, I wish Black Clover was next, but actually it's a totally different show.
Oh, I thought it was Black Clover. What is next?
No, it is a recovery of an MMO Junkie.
That's right.
So yeah, would have had a really good transition, but MMO had to get in the middle. With episode 7, Sakura is conflicted between his real-life feelings for Morioka and his desire to escape into the role of Lily. Koiwai downloads the MMO and asks Morioka to teach him how to play. Morioka creates an alt character in an attempt to keep her real and online lives separate, but immediately runs into Kanbei and Nico from her guild. Then Koiwai invites Sakura to join them as the episode ends. And guys, I don't know if this is the best show on our list, but this is the one that, at least as of this week, that I'm looking the most forward to every week, because I know what I'm getting. It's adorable. It is consistently fun and entertaining. And this just kept up that streak. Like, puts these really likable characters in these interesting social situations and just winds them up and lets them go, and everything feels organic, everything feels driven by character, and I really like it. Kieran, how you feeling?
I love how human this feels. I think like the shows that I really enjoy are the ones that like really talk about humanity and just, God, this is so relatable. I love it so much. Because everyone here is just so, I can see them being a real person that is just going nuts, and like you said, organic is the key word here.
Would you call it slice of virtual life?
So that scene where Koiwai's character is this huge, like, muscle-bound blob, like, that's so funny and so true. Because, God, if I haven't made a character that just looks dumb for the sake of it, or like, oh, hey, isn't that wacky? Like, it knows how to have fun. And if you have played any MMO at all, you will find something enjoyable. Or even if you're just involved in internet culture, you'll find something relatable about this show. It's so fun. It really is consistent and great.
It's kind of interesting because it's gotten, like, I was wondering last episode, a lot of plot threads have kind of, like, not been wrapped up, but they've come to kind of, like, these resting points where they, don't need to be brought up again for a while. So it was like, okay, what do they do next? They did a lot of different things in this episode. Some that I liked, Koiwai joining, like okay, good. There's no coincidence of him being somebody who's already playing.
Yep.
He's never played, and his introduction to the game is hilarious. On the other hand, something I am nervous about. I won't say I disliked it, but I'm very nervous about the plot point that they've introduced. That is a huge coincidence. Like, this is a remarkable coincidence.
Yeah, and that's something that we can get more into in the unsnipped segment.
Yeah.
Where we pick apart individual plot threads. But know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it has to do with Sakurai, and I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. Again, like, this show is so much fun. I love it, and I'm nervous about some things, but at least they're trying new things and they're having fun, and we'll see what next week is like.
And this feels like another one of those instances where we can just hold up them cards. Guys, how you feeling? It's a tri-fuck, as expected. Yep.
I mean, what else was it gonna be?
Yeah. This is another one of those shows that has built up enough goodwill that it would have to screw up pretty bad for me to want to drop it at this point.
Yeah. It'll have to be some hot anime garbage for me to want to drop it.
Yeah. But speaking of shows that almost got dropped and the audience voted to, not necessarily voted to save it, but at the very least voted to kill something else first. Black Clover coming back for another week. Let's see if it can come back from the dead. In episode 7, Asta is shown his room and given a tour of Fort Spooky by his friendly senpai Scarboy, while Luego is treated with disdain by his senpai Jerk Glasses. Asta is introduced to another new Black Bulls recruit, Pigtails, the black sheep of the royal family who cannot control her powerful magic. She is initially hostile, but becomes friendly after Asta and the Black Bulls rescue her from her own incompetence. I will try to do the compliment sandwich. One thing that this episode did that I really liked was that it juxtaposed Asta in the Black Bulls, like, yeah, they've got a rough exterior, but they're really friendly. They welcome him, and he's found a home. And then Luego, who is in this much more high prestige situation, and they don't give a shit about him. And I think that is a cool thing. That is about the only nice thing I have to say about this episode. The rest was, at best, just boilerplate shonen with no spark of originality or care or craft or heart to it. Scott looks like he wants to say something real bad.
I like Asta and Scarboy's relationship.
Yep.
I actually kind of dig on them being friends. Like, I was like, hey, cool. I like to see Asta getting along with somebody else. It's actually kind of refreshing. I hate the show. I hate the show so much. I think you understand how much I despise this show. The writing is terrible. I cannot believe they literally just repeated what happened with Asta with this new chick, which, by the way, is awfully written and completely deplorable. And no, I do not feel for her. I never felt for her once in this episode, nor did I feel for her near the end of the episode where I was supposed to feel for her. She's terrible. These characters are terrible. The writing is terrible. The show is terrible. Please.
Now, Kieran, you've never been looking for quality out of this show.
Never looking for quality.
But you have enjoyed it. Did you get enjoyment this week?
I did.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
I love you. So this is scratching the Bleach itch for me, where it is bad. But now I'm old enough to know it's bad. But I need this thread. I have a problem, and the only cure is some more Clovers. Okay, I'm behind on My Hero, so I don't have that for shonen. I should watch that.
You worthless shit. Watch My Hero.
But Black Clover is introducing. I like what they're doing with the moving castle. I love what they're doing with what's his face. I can't even remember his name, but I love what they're doing with them.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the Luego. I can't remember his fucking name.
Okay, yeah, no.
I like
Luego.
that he's Luego, because I remember him and enjoy him as a character. But I'm hoping that he will have some crazy turn and be awful and a villain. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, we'll see how it goes with the cards right now. And guys, I got to vote to kill it. It's not good. It's not worth my time. Scott?
It's not going to die because he's going to vote to fuck it. I know he is. I already know he is. And it's not fair, and it's not okay. And I don't know if we can be friends after this.
Welcome to Anime FMK, where the points don't matter. And my goal is to make Scott suffer. So Black Clover is safe for another week, and we're going to be best friends.
That is a double kill on the board, and I will say I am more okay with that, if only because I keep giving this show chances, and maybe it'll pick up when there's an actual villain. I don't know, but there's...
Oh, yeah, there's no action.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the Zabuza arc, okay? If I can make my intentions clear, I'm waiting for episode 12. If episode 12 is good, then awesome, we'll get our Zabuza. Because I hated the start of Naruto. I hated it. But once we got Zabuza, I loved it. There we go.
Well, we will see whether that's the case, because we're going to have to. But in the meantime, we've got one more show on the list for this week, and that is Ancient Magus Bride, Episode 7. Chise and Elias investigate reports of a black dog spirit attacking people in a church graveyard. Chise is attacked by a hostile centipede-looking spirit, but is saved by a dark-haired man who can transform into a black dog. The dog is badly injured. Alice appears and demands the dog so that she can turn it over to the Silver Sorcerer from the City of Cats flashback. Same dude who apparently, dude or lady, can't tell.
Dude.
Very androgynous dude, apparently, who apparently has some kind of hold on Alice and Renfred. Chise defends the dog. Suddenly, Alice is attacked by a chimera, praying mantis-looking monster under the control of the Silver Sorcerer, and Chise intervenes, getting badly injured. As the episode ends, Elias is enraged by Chise's injury and begins to change into a monstrous form.
Pilum Marialis, I think.
They've kicked that around as an alternate name, something for Elias, but it's very mysterious, and there are a lot of nitty-gritty plot points that I glossed over in order to keep this summary to a reasonable length, and we will get into all of those in the Unsnipped segment, I am sure, because this episode felt like a lot of plot threads brought up in passing in previous episodes being brought back again, a lot of pushing the plot forward in a way that not every episode does, and largely, I would say, in a satisfying way. I'm really curious to see what happens next. It ended on a huge cliffhanger that I am really curious to see resolved. Kieran, how you feeling?
I loved this episode. Again, this show just knows how to knock it out of the park with a setting. The introduction, or not introduction, but just kind of the glossing over of, hey, there's a church and there's a policeman there, like a real life modern day ass police murder like just happened. And then we get like, oh, off in the woods, there's this crazy shit going on. Just, I love that fantastical element of their modern day could have some crazy shit going on in the woods and we wouldn't know. I really like what this show is doing with its setting. It knows how to make the magical elements work, and man, if the magic isn't really, really cool, just seeing her make these potions and Elias' transformation and chimeras, and we're getting all this cool shit. It was really awesome.
This show just keeps getting better for me. Every episode literally makes this show better to me. Because I remember the first three thinking like, okay, this really depends on where this goes, because it had so much potential. And every episode has introduced these new elements, new characters, and just brought these stories to life. I am so happy we got to see Chise actually practicing magic. That made me really happy. And she's getting into it.
Yeah.
She's liking this. She's finding purpose here, and that's what I want to see. And when she uses that accidental sleeping potion, I'm like, yes, thank you. Like, this is what I love to see out of my magic and out of my like fantasy fiction. And oh man, I am so excited for next week. Great cliffhanger. And oh man, Elias' transformation was so wicked.
Well, let's transform our cards.
Yeah.
Just hold them up, because I
Yeah.
think we know what we're doing. Yep, that's another trifecta on the board. Lots of trifectas this week.
A lot of good stuff this week.
Good week,
We've weeded out a lot of the bad shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And speaking of weeding out the bad shit, I gotta go fetch that wheel of justice. I'll be
Oh,
right
man.
back. And we're back. And guys, we're doing something a little bit different this time at the suggestion of one of the users of our wonderful Discord, discord.gg/team4star. We've added 2 new spaces to the wheel, so most of them either say KG or JT for King's Game or Juni Taisen, the 2 that might die. We've also got this special knife space on the green here, which means we would get to kill both. But Double or nothing. The other green space means they both live for another week.
I love this.
Yep, so Wheel of Morality, turn, turn, turn. Scott, do the honors, give us a spin. Come on. Oh, damn it. Guys, Juni Taisen dies, which means we will be subjected to another King's game.
Wait, who can stop the King's game?
It's not the worst of all possible outcomes, but it's not the best either.
I was waiting for that knife. I kind of wanted
I know,
that
it was
knife.
right there.
We were one space away from that knife.
Because I'm going to continue watching Juni Taisen either way.
Well, I'm glad I'm saved now.
But no one is safe from King's Game. Can nothing stop its reign of terror? We'll find out next week. But guys, stay tuned for the unsnipped segment where we drop the formalities and get real about this shit.
Go elbow deep into this stuff.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, I want to extend another extra special thank you to our wonderful patrons for making this show possible. And as an extra thank you, I'd like to announce that the audio for every Anime FMK episode is being released for patrons only as an audio podcast for you to listen to at the gym or during your commute or wherever you want. So check out patreon.com/TFS for more details. Thank you again so much, you guys. See you next time.